To know more on HIV or AIDS, call toll-free number 1097. Know your status. Be educated about AIDS. Issued in public interest by the Meghalaya AIDS Control Society.
Umentri rangba ke jylla konrat ki sangmau lo ong pakidon artwaitli ki karkhana pinmi ko khagatan Shillong West Khasi Hills district but nakidi southly ki biang ki kot kisla katba khanyotli ki dei ki bal la Treikam Beaiñ. Habajuba bi ke jingkali ke blawanra du wemle ke Congress na mausnra muba Himalaya changpliang umentri rangba rayeto ba ka Sorkar lingba ke Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board haka khatsan trik nailar arajar arpau kalapha de jingtho ban hukum bagi khanyotli ki karkhana pinmi kok Beaiñ ki de ban Khang no Namar ba kim shimlayo jingbet satia ulaitho ban apreng ki khanyotli ki Treikam Beaiñ nyotli ki de ki bam pat biang ye ki kot kisla katba shipotli ki de ki blayo jingbet tangba lingba ka single window agency katba ki klamyo jingbet pan na ka MSPCB hakaba yakini ru ki haban ken ba kilong Beaiñ habujubabi ki jingkali benrap ba kini ki karkhana kimpat chimla Khang satya wat hadin ba pinmi yako hukum nakaliang ukonrat ulaitho ba ki karkhana kok Beaiñ kila Khang lut katkum ka kaipot ba ka Sorkar klayo na gibor pinya district da ka ba benrap ru ba ka Sorkar kamla shu ban pinpra jubor yakite ki karkhana Namar ki don nakini ki bla lek ra yakini ka kam shakashri bat ladon ru ka an katkum ka air act but water act ban pinstom yaki bale Beaiñ habujubab susho yakajing pinpoy doyong shikite ki karkhana umentri ulaithu bayu doyong la wanra na Assam but West Bengal but katu kani doyong balayo jingbet ban lilam na po ka jylla Meghalaya.
So my next question is relating to the availability of coal in all these coke factories, be it legal or illegal. May we know from the Honorable Chief Minister, what is the source of the coal, sir, that is being burned in these coke factories?
Sir, it is very clearly stated when the SWA is single window agency has given the permission that all the coal that is used must be from legal sources. So therefore the question of illegal source does not arise, sir.
So therefore, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, may we know the actual source from where the coal is being transported to these places, sir?
Sir, every unit will have their own source. That is not some area that we personally go into. But coal fields of Coal India in Assam, in this West Bengal, all that have legal documents are being allowed. At the same time, if there are any kind of auctions that are taken place by the state with legal documents, those coal also are being allowed to be used in this particular coke plants.
Honorable Speaker, sir, with reference to start question number 7A and the answer that came with it, may I know from the Honorable Chief Minister, sir, as to how many such illegal coke factories are there in West Khasi Hills?
So there were total 21 coke factories that were found. Out of these 21, 4 of them were legal, and hence 17 of them were illegal. Out of the 17, 10 had got a single window clearance, and they were waiting for the CTE and the CTO, and 7 were completely illegal without any SWA, nor CTE, nor CTO.
Sir, considering the fact that closure notices were issued to the coke factories that stood illegally and were awaiting clearances, means they were all illegal, has the government dismantled their operations and all the equipments and infrastructure set up at the locations, sir?
Sir, as of now, the trial is going on in the district court, and the Pollution Control Board has filed the case. So once the district court gives the necessary judgment, only then the necessary actions will be taken. But till then, these coke plants will be closed, who are functioning illegally.
Sir, one thing that really disturbs my mind is that, sir, just last year, some illegally or maybe legally also, but then as per the administration notice of the Siri Boy, some shops by the side of the national highway were dismantled immediately once closure notices were issued after a month's time. But then when it comes to these illegal coke plants, they have been allowed to stand as they are, even though they have been set up legally or illegally. and now they have dragged these cases to court. So this disparity is creating a lot of confusion in the minds of the people. When investors come and then set up even these illegal coke plants for the past 2 years, illegally they have set up, and then nobody does a thing, nor dismantle their infrastructure, and this has been done only after the Environment Committee has taken up on its own volition, sir. So I demand that these illegally set up coal factories should be dismantled, sir, whether it's 4 or 10, but then a message should be sent to the people that anyone that operates anything illegally, sir, they will not be accepted, and the government has a firm stand on this matter, sir. May I have a word from the Chief Minister, sir, on this?
Sir, any kind of illegal activity that takes place, there's a procedure that the government has to follow. So therefore, under the Air Act and the Water Act, Water Act of 1974 and Air Act of 1981, there are penalties and punishments that are prescribed. But there's a procedure that needs to be followed, and therefore the due process and the procedure is being followed, and definitely very strict action will be taken, sir.
Sir, what about the revenue loss? Has there been any revenue loss because of these illegally set up factories?
That information is not available to me right now, sir.
Sir, since the...
This is the last question.
Sir, since the factories have been set up illegally, sir, there is definitely a revenue loss in terms of duties that have to be paid and revenue that has to be collected by the government. May I have an assurance from the Honourable Chief Minister that an examination may be done, and whatever recoveries that have to be made from these illegally set up factories, sir, it will be done within a short time frame, sir.
So I have noted the suggestion of the Honourable Member, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now we move to start question number 8.
Excuse me, sir.
Of course, this is not for the present, but of course, this is for the future, sir. Coke making industry, sir, does fall under the classification of red industrial sector. I want to know from the Honorable Chief Minister how a red industrial sector industry can be given the consent or the approval for setting up through single window agency.
Sir, the mandate of the Industries Department and the single window agency is to look at industrialization in the state. So therefore, processes are followed through which we look at industrial development. Now, red category means that there are certain precautions and certain measures and certain norms prescribed by the Air Act and the Water Act and the Pollution Board needs to be followed. Therefore, sir, because it's a red industry does not mean we don't go ahead with industrialization. We need to go ahead with industrialization. That's how we create jobs. That's how the economy grows. So those aspects need to be looked into. But it must be done provided they're following the norms of the environment and the pollution board. So therefore, sir, it's really a question about balancing the economy and the ecology. So yes, we need to go ahead, but it must be done in a safe manner and a manner that's prescribed by the rules that have been framed by the Government of India and Government of Meghalaya. And that's what's being done in these cases of these coke plants.